Thanks so much for coming. So sometimes I go off on reading tangents while I'm, looking for inspiration for ripples, and I came across this quote made in 1968 by Robert Kennedy, later of course assassinated. But he says, as rightly pointed to by the iconic American political leader, hang on a sec, that's not the quote, sorry, I want to start again. So he says in 1968, the gross national product of a country, he means, does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It does not include the beauty of our poetry, or the strength of our marriages, the intelligence of our public debate, or the integrity of our public officials. It measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country, which I would now say humanity. I wouldn't use that word country, I'd use the word humanity. But I judge not. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile. And I thought that was a really interesting quote to bring up today, a day that happens to have begun with a visit from a patient who was talking about the death by suicide of her neighbor's son. And she was saying, these people have all the wealth in the world, immensely wealthy people, have everything they could possibly want. And then there's a suicide of one of their two children. And I then thought back to that quote that I found yesterday. And I thought, well, how can we affect humanity in a way that causes them to value, or how can we affect economists or people that talk about the economic structure of the world in a way that makes them question whether that is a valid metric, as they say, of the success of a country. And so in the light of the explosion of the suicide rate, especially in young people, I thought a good ripple to put out would be one that cultivates things like joy and love and respect and as I say the words, I think it's not meant to sound pat, it's not meant to sound Pollyanna-ish or hopelessly innocent. I really actually mean it. I think what we can do is to nourish blood in such a way that there is enough bandwidth in humanity to tolerate the reality of what is actually happening, which is the erosion of these foundationally human ethics or qualities or capacity, the capacity of the human heart, which is not entering into the metric that you use to value a culture. And so I was thinking, how would you do that with acupuncture? And I'm thinking, if ever I'm doing a treatment and then I think, I really want to add something, a vector in there, maybe not even a vector, where the body is stimulated to manufacture more blood and store more blood in order to increase the bandwidth of the patient's capacity to tolerate an emotion so that they can process it and get through it. I'll often just add, because you can add to 8 extra channels and you can add to divergent channels, points on the yuan level, which means Hsi points, source points, influential points, mu points, back shoe points, and that's all. There's a longer list than that, I'm sure. Anyway, I'll stop there. But you're allowed to add yuan level points to certain kinds of treatments, and so if we want to add the capacity for tolerance of these emotions, I think that LR-3 and LR-8, while they may be kind of not that interesting, and they certainly don't have interesting names, you know, that the LR-3 is, like, on this card they call it the Great Rushing. Well, the Great Rushing is a word that refers to its shoestring capacity, its capacity for the shoestring point to move in and out, but it's a source point. And when you needle a source point, it cues triple heater to deliver more yuan qi to that organ. So by nourishing the liver, by financing the liver with more qi, it's able to bank more blood. And the point that powerfully instructs the liver to bank more blood, it could be liver 14, could be, but I really like liver 8. And when you palpate liver 8 inside the knee, when people are deficient in blood, or they're deficient in the kind of blood that you need in order to be to have this extra bandwidth, to be able to have this communication about changing things, often it's very flaccid inside the knee, right at liver 8. And so what we would do is palpate the liver 8 of humanity, find the weakest point or the most flaccid point, and put the needle in there, turn it and astringe it. So the 2 points will be liver 3 and liver 8, and the ripple that we're putting into the pond is to invite humanity to bank enough blood to be able to tolerate the pain of where we have arrived with the misplacing of values, and to be able to have enough blood in the liver to bring it up to the heart to usurp those false values and replace them with the notion of joy and love of all humanity. And I hope that doesn't sound corny, not quite articulate enough to put it in poetry. But anyway, you could fill in the gaps. So thanks so much for being here, and let's get to work. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.